All right, so we're going to find the equation of the tangent line to the graph of x to the fourth plus x squared y squared is equal to x, or x to the fourth plus x squared y squared is equal to y squared at the point √2/2 comma √2/2. Interesting. So this is a weird looking type of graph, and we're basically going to be looking at like the slope of a line around here. That's where like would approximately be. This is not a perfect drawing of the graph. We'll give you a sense. We want to find the slope of that tangent line. All right, so for this, we're going to need to use implicit differentiation. So when you differentiate this equation with respect to x, when you're differentiating x terms, it's kind of the same sort of thing you've been used to. But when you are differentiating y terms, you got to make sure you multiply it by dy/dx. So let's go through it so you can know what I mean. Okay, so the derivative of x to the fourth. Using power rule, we'll just get 4x cubed plus, and here we got a product rule. Here we got one function, x squared. Let's say that's f times g. So remembering product rule, we got to take the derivative of f first. So it'll be plus the derivative of x squared, which is 2x, multiplied by y squared, plus f, so plus x squared, times the derivative of y squared, times 2y. But now since we differentiated a y term, we're going to multiply this by dy/dx, so dy/dx. So that's kind of the thing you have to remember with implicit differentiation. Now, we're going to have this equal to the derivative of y squared. So we differentiate that. That'll be 2y. And again, we're going to multiply that by dy/dx. That's actually means red. Times dy/dx. Okay, so the next thing we essentially have to do is solve for dy/dx. We want to treat it just like a term. So let's bring, we can actually bring the dy/dx terms to the right. That'll probably be easier. And then everything else, leave it on the left. So let's go ahead, let's expand this first. So we have 4x cubed plus 2xy squared plus a 2. Okay, so let's actually go from here. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract this whole thing right here. We're going to subtract this whole thing because it's dy/dx. So again, treat dy/dx like a variable. Treat it like it's just like being multiplied by z. So we're going to subtract this whole thing. So on the right side, we have 2y times dy/dx minus this whole thing. So minus 2x squared y dy/dx. I don't know why I'm having trouble writing this neatly. There you go. Okay, see now we're going to factor out this dy/dx from these two terms, and then we're going to divide by that. So on the left side, we still have 4x cubed plus a 2xy squared. That'll be equal to, let's factor out this dy/dx. That'll be multiplied by 2y minus a 2x squared y. And then we now divide both sides by this group here. So we divide both sides by the 2y minus 2x squared y. So that whole thing goes away. So we just have dy/dx is equal to this. So this is our equation for dy/dx right here. Okay, now we just have to evaluate this at this point. Now that'll just give it, that'll give you the slope of the graph. So let's actually draw. Yeah. Remember, we're trying to find the equation of a line, the equation of this tangent line. So let's look for the form y equals mx plus b. I usually like that form, and students usually feel very comfortable. So we want to eventually get our answer in this form. To find m, that's going to be the derivative at this point. To find the derivative at this point, you're going to plug these values into this equation, and this equation evaluated will give you the value of n. So it essentially means like you're going to evaluate dy dx at the point root 2 over 2 root 2 over 2. So you're evaluating that for these x and y values. So we're going to plug this for x into here and this for y into here. All right, let's mix. Now this is going to be one we have to concentrate. So let me concentrate here because I don't want to screw up. So 4 times this to the third power. So root 2 to the third power will be root 2 times root 2, 2 root 2 over 2 to the third power, which will be 8, plus 2 times this, the 2 root 2 over 2 times this, our y squared, root 2 over 2 squared. So root 2 over 2 squared will be 2 over 4, because root 2 times root 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. And that'll be all over 2 times root 2 over 2. So 2 root 2 over 2 minus 2 times x squared, so minus 2 times root 2 over 2 squared, so minus 2 times root 2 squared is just 2, over 2 squared is 4, times y, so times root 2 over 2. All right, now let's go to simplify this over here. Let's do this work up here. So this will be 8 over 8, and that'll just leave you a root 2. And remember, this is our slope, dy over dx for m. It'll be 8, or sorry, this will be 4 times 2, 8. It'll be root 2 plus, these 2's will cancel, so plus 2 or 1/2, so plus a 1/2 root 2, so plus a root 2 over 2, I guess, over this, these 2's cancel, of root 2 minus, these 2's will cancel, so minus a root 2 over, minus a 1/2 root 2, so root 2 over 2. All right, and then here we just got to use some fancy simplification properties. All right, so what I would do is probably put these all over 2. So this will be 2 over 2 root 2. So 2 root 2 over 2 plus a root 2 over 2 all over a root 2 over 2 minus root 2, or 2 root 2 over 2 minus a root 2 over 2. Wow, keeping it going. So we have just 3 root 2 over 2 all over 1 root 2 over 2. So root 2 over 2. And then this will just, you flip it and swap, you'll get just a 3. Oh wow, you know, 3. All right, cool. And that's the slope. Okay, so then the slope is then 3 here. So we'll have y is equal to 3x plus b. Now we just gotta solve for b, the y-intercept, by plugging in these coordinates in for x and y. So we plug these coordinates in, we'll get root 2 over 2 is equal to 3 times root 2 over 2, some more root 2 action. And then B will be root 2 over 2 minus 3 root 2 over 2. Subtract that, so it'll be negative 2. This is an interesting answer. A negative 2 root 2 over 2, so it'll just be a negative root 2. Cool. So that's the B. That's your B. And go ahead and can write our answer as y is equal to 3x minus root 2. And there you go. And that makes sense. The graph is positive and looks like the y-intercept will be negative. I think we're good. Yeah.